Yeah, okay, so I don't actually know how to smoke pot, but for instance, this here is an imaginary joint, also called marijuana cigarette, grass, weed, ganja. My favorite name for it, pot. I'm here today to tell you why recreational pot specifically should be illegal in the U.S. Currently, it's not illegal federally at all. Some states have actually legalized it. But first, I want to tell you today the harmful effects related to recreational marijuana, increases in crime related to recreational marijuana, and some counter-arguments for the argument to legalize recreational marijuana and why those arguments don't hold water. But first, some of you might be asking, what is this guy talking about recreational marijuana? Well, let me give you an example. Recreational marijuana, it's like, maybe you've heard of a recreational sport. My brother and I participate in golf. We play it for fun. That's what recreational means, for fun. So recreational marijuana is smoking it for fun. Now, where is it legal? Well, according to the government, 23 states, this also includes the District of Columbia, currently have laws legalizing marijuana in some form. Most of those for medical formats, but 4 of those states are because of recreational purposes. Washington State, Oregon, Alaska, which I might add is not even connected to the United States, and we all know Colorado. Everybody knows about Colorado. So now some harmful effects that recreational marijuana can and will cause. Traffic accidents. Just in the first half of 2014 in Colorado, 77% of driving under the influence of drugs were involved with marijuana. And of that, almost half just marijuana, nothing else, no alcohol, anything, just marijuana. And marijuana in Colorado was legalized in late 2012. That's quite a coincidence, because that's not too awfully far off from when it was legalized. Another harmful effect of marijuana, academic problems. According to David Schick of USA Today, he states that substance abuse, especially that of marijuana, can and will, depending on how frequently you use it, lead to skipping class for college, less time studying, lower grades throughout your classes, which is a lower GPA total, withdrawal from college more often than not, and for those who do graduate college, a higher unemployment rate. This is not good. In just a few short years, these people will be going into the American workforce. And shortly thereafter, the whole workforce will be completely decimated. I don't want this. Another thing is increase in crime rate related to recreational marijuana. According to the Delta discovery, crime in Denver, Colorado, in just the capital of Denver, raised nearly 7% in just the first half of 2014. That's astounding. Moving on to some counter-arguments as to why you would want to legalize this type of marijuana. Some say it would increase revenue. And yes, it might a little bit, but at great cost. The traffic accidents I discussed earlier, the academic problems, which will lead to a not great workforce later in America, or later in the years following shortly. Reasons we should not legalize recreational marijuana. It far outweighs the benefit of any increased revenue at all. Another reason they say is because of freedom. Well, yeah, that's true. I can relate to that freedom, but stay at home. Don't endanger others. The minute you get behind the wheel, it's just like driving under the influence of alcohol. The minute you go out, really anywhere, you can endanger others just by being impaired from recreational marijuana use. Again, not good. This is why I don't want to legalize it. So in conclusion, I've discussed with you the harmful effects that recreational marijuana can have in relation to traffic accidents, academic problems, increased crime rate related to recreational marijuana, some counter-arguments for it, and why they don't hold water. So next time, you go to the doctor's office. Do you want your doctor who's about to operate a surgical procedure on you just an hour or the day before having smoked marijuana and having that in his system? I don't think so. Do you want the person who's the pilot of the plane you're on having smoked marijuana and be impaired because of it? I don't think I would want to be on that plane with him. You never know what can happen. So this is why I don't want to legalize it, and I hope you feel the same. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Oh man, this is gonna be something.
All right. I'm not a big, I guess, pothead. I don't know if that's a surprise to you. But I will say that your argument seems to take place in a strange kind of bizarro move, where people, once marijuana is legalized, will indeed smoke it before open heart surgery. I have a few problems, I guess, with your argument because it seems very strange. It seems to be taking under the assumption that we don't treat marijuana like we treat any other, narcotic isn't the word, mind-altering substance, such as alcohol. We have laws against alcohol, people drinking and driving, and people still drink alcohol around, I guess, going to school or whatever, and that hasn't completely decimated the workforce, as you said. You don't often see doctors, taking a shot of whiskey before they start, sawing off your bones or, replacing your colon. You don't see these things happening. Now, on terms of importance, weed being legalized is less important than, wrestling. But I still feel like your argument sort of rings of strange elementary school dare logic,
Well, I can see where you're coming from, but by legalizing recreational marijuana throughout the U.S., that further incentivizes people to go up and get it. All you need is a card and a dispensary.
Yeah, okay, but here's the problem. Again, you dismiss the revenue of marijuana by saying that, okay.
So Brian, you said yes. We're gonna stop here and move along. We're gonna Shay. I don't know who was first. We'll just take them by rows. So Shay is in this one. I don't know who was first.
When I ask questions, I'll forget them. So you have a very interesting argument, but I have a question.
Yeah.
If you're talking about car accidents with weed, and yeah, that's an issue because it is a mind-altering drug, then why is alcohol legal? It does the same thing, if not more dangerous. It can cause a lot of rifts between people, and it's highly addictive, whereas weed doesn't have an addictive substance. It just makes you high for about a few hours. By the way, I don't drink, I don't smoke pot. I don't like alcohol. I don't like.
So Shay, we're gonna leave it there and let him respond to you so we can get to all the other questions.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Williams. Now, I see your point. They do say that marijuana is not as addictive as alcohol, but in refute to your point, it is addictive. It is. It's not as addictive, but it is addictive. And if they were to if you needed treatment through marijuana and you weren't doing it for recreational purposes, I can still see that, but they can extract the main ingredient, which is what they use, and it would be 100% less harmful.
I got another one.
Okay, well, no, it's just we're gonna keep it at that. Anybody else in this row who wanted to ask a question? No? Okay, we'll move on to this row. I don't know who had their hand up first. So Sarah, did you have your hand up first?
No, I'm good now.
Okay. Deanne?
I just have a quick question. On one of your statistics, you said that it was correlated to, what's the word? Weed?
Crime.
School, as far as school,
Academic problems.
but your statistics said that drug abuse, and I agree with drug abuse, but you're just using it for recreation and it's not abuse. How is that harmful?
Recreational marijuana, it's more of an incentive to abuse that drug because you use it on a higher scale than you would for medical purposes or something like that. It really just incentivizes people who are not morally taught or have a strong background. They can abuse that a lot easier. If you're not taught, it's just,
You're not taught what?
if you're not from a strong background, this is wrong, this is right, you can get messed up real quick. And with that, recreational marijuana, able to be more easily accessed, you're more
Yeah,
likely
but I
to-
mean, my parents raised me to think that was wrong, but I grew up to believe, I don't think it's, my opinion, that's not wrong. And I feel like my parents raised me in a strong.
Oh, being a
I
rebel.
get what you're saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yes.
Is that it?
Yes, he is.
For like a little bit.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.